What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode brought to you by the League FFB. And today we're here for another episode of Let's Talk Dynasty. But today's episode is going to be a little bit different than some episodes we've done in the past. We're going for a little bit of a game today. We're going to have some fun. We're going to look at some blind fantasy football resumes with WAR. And then we are going to try to kind of decipher these resumes, decide who we would take on our Dynasty rosters because of the resume that is presented, and then try to figure out who these players are. So with that being said, let's hop right into today's video and let's not waste any more time. Let's get my co-host MFGDs in the building. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm good. I'm ready to rock and roll. This sounds like a very fun and exciting show. I'm happy to be a part of.
Hell yeah, man. So I already have the players pulled up. I don't want to waste any time. Let's hop right into the game and let's start talking about some of these guys. Now, as you can see on the screen here, we have three players: player A, player B, and player C. These are the silhouettes for the guys. And now the only thing that I will tell you about these players right now is every single one of these guys is a wide receiver. So we know that they're all wide receivers, but I want to present to you the fantasy football resume of each of these guys. So we'll work our way through this and we'll start it off right here. This is kind of the criteria that we are going to be looking at for these fantasy football resumes. We're going to look at their age because that is relevant to Dynasty fantasy football. We will look at the career points per game average that they have in PPR leagues. We will look at how many times they have finished as a wide receiver 2 or better, how many times they finished as a wide receiver 1 or better, and we will also look at how many games they have missed due to injury in their career, because I feel like that plays a role in a little bit of how we view guys. So starting it off, let's look at the age. Player A is 26 and a half years old. Player B, he's 28, and player C, he is 26.7 years old. This is kind of the age. And if at any point, War, you feel like you kind of know who it is, feel free to jump in. And if you want me to move on to the next category, just let me know as well. So going to the career points per game, we have 14.1 fantasy points for player A, 14.9 fantasy points per game for player B, and 12.7 for player C. Now, wide receiver 2 finishes. This is going to be important because if you are selecting a guy for your team, you need to know how many times they finished as this for your team. 4 times for player A as a wide receiver 2 or better, 2 times for player B, and 3 times for player C. Now, for the wide receiver 1 or better finishes, we have 1 time for player A. He finished as the wide receiver 10 that year. You have 2 times for player B. He finished as the wide receiver 3 and the wide receiver 12 in those 2 times. And player C has never been a wide receiver 1. And then when it comes to games missed, 6 games missed in his career for player A, 22 games missed for player B, and 5 games missed for player C. So War, I will turn it over to you. Do you have any hunches as to who any of these guys will be? And based on the fantasy resume, who do you want on your Dynasty fantasy football roster?
Oh man, this is okay. Wide receiver 2 or better 4 times, wide receiver 1, 26 years old. That's the player I would want.
Which one? Player A?
Player A. That's the guy I would want. Man.
If you want to move on to some hints, I have a hint from each of the guys.
Give me some hints, man.
Okay, let's move on. So what we have here is a hint from each of these guys. So player A says, I was drafted in the 2nd round of the NFL draft and played in the NBA celebrity game in February of 2023. Player B says, people know me by my nickname that my dad gave me as a child, and I am a former NFL first team All-Pro. And player C is, my father is a former Super Bowl champion, and I have 447,000 subscribers on YouTube, which, by the way, if you guys want to help us get to 447,000 subscribers, hit the subscribe button down below. Any ideas based on these hints as to who these guys will be? I'll give you can give me the guesses and then I'll reveal who they are.
I mean, player C, I don't think it's Juju Smith-Schuster. Oh man, I was drafted in the 2nd round NFL draft and played in the NBA celebrity game last. Too bad I stopped watching those celebrity games a long time ago. I was drafted in the 2nd round. Crap, I wish I knew which draft it was. Dude, you have me stumped. I'm stumped, and I feel like it's an obvious answer too. Who has the gravitas to play in an NBA celebrity game? It's not Deontay Johnson, because that's who I originally thought it was. Crap. So for him to be in a celebrity game, it has to be somebody kind of popular. People know me by my nickname, and they missed 22 games. Is player B Deebo Samuel?
Final answer?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, we'll lock in Deebo for player B. I want you to give me player A and C before we reveal all of them.
Well, I know it's wrong, but player C, I'm say Juju Smith-Schuster just because that's like the best guess I could think of.
Okay.
Let's see. And player A, somebody who's 26, so that's somebody who's been in the league like a few years already.
And he does have 4 4 wide receiver 2 or better finishes. You did say that.
Yeah, somebody. Okay, who thinks they're Hooper? AJ Brown. Put AJ Brown. Just put him up. I feel like I got all 3 of these wrong, but like, let's go with it.
Okay, so just to confirm, we are locking in AJ Brown as player A, player B is Deebo Samuel, and player C is Juju Smith-Schuster.
Even though I feel like AJ Brown's probably more successful than the
resume we saw.
Yeah, but let's do it.
Okay, and just to confirm, you said that you want player A on your Dynasty roster based on the fantasy football resume, but to show you who they are. Player A is DK Metcalf, player B is Deebo Samuel, and player C is Michael Pittman Jr. So knowing what we know now, how do you feel about those 3 guys? Does it change your opinion? Because I feel like the point of this video for the most part is to show you that taking the name value out of it, the name recognition, everybody's favorite guy, when you just look at the numbers, it might change your opinion. Would you have still chose DK Metcalf over Michael Pittman and over Deebo Samuel, or knowing who they are, does that change your opinion now?
Yeah, no, I would have still took DK. And DK, I should have thought if I would have been a little more patient, I would have said DK, because he would have been my next choice of like dudes. I was like, okay, is this guy big enough to like play in the NBA celebrity game? So yeah, I still would have took player A.
Fair enough. Okay. Do you feel like, I guess really just talk to me a little bit as to why you would choose DK over a guy like Pittman or over a guy like Deebo?
The age and production. The age is like the main thing I looked at. So him and Michael Pittman are pretty much the same age, but then like the lack of success that Pittman has versus how DK has performed is kind of like what I looked into there. And he's had a wide receiver 1 finish, so that's kind of like why I linked that direction.
Yeah, it was interesting when I was looking at this, putting it together, because you had Pittman, who I was a little bit higher on, I feel like, because I'm like, man, I really love Michael Pittman Jr., but no wide receiver 1 finishes. Now, last year was his best year to date. It's also worth noting that in his rookie season, he didn't really start a ton early on, and he just didn't really have the year as a rookie, which is not necessarily abnormal. But ever since then, he's been a wide receiver 2 or better every single season. He just hasn't hit that wide receiver 1 numbers. But yeah, DK Metcalf, man, I feel like he's a little bit slept on in the community right now. Yeah. Maybe name fatigue, maybe I don't know what it is, but when you look at the numbers, DK Metcalf, he's been a producer for our Dynasty rosters, and he's probably a little bit underrated right now.
I agree.
All right, well, let's look at the next little group of silhouettes, and we will do this, and you can take your time. You can be patient, because you said it, you would be better if you were a little bit more patient. So feel free to take your time. We are going to start right here, though. This is running back. So player A, player B, and player C. These are all running backs. So just looking at the resumes, same type of categories. The only difference is they're RB finishes instead of wide receivers, obviously. Now, for the current age of these guys, player A is 25.4 years old. Player B is 26.3 years old. Player C is 25.4 years old. So the same age for both of those running backs A and C. Career PPR fantasy points per game: 14.4 fantasy points per game for player A, 14.1 fantasy points per game for player B, and 14.2 fantasy points per game for player C. So they're all kind of producing about the same throughout their entire career so far. Running back 2 finishes or better 2 times, and 4 times for player C. Running back 1 finishes or better, we have 1 time as the RB7 for player A, 1 time as the RB6 for player B, and 1 time as the RB8 for player C. And then when it comes down to games missed due to injuries, we have 17 games from player A, 0 games from player B, and 11 games from player C. So just based on the resumes, there's a lot of similarities. The fantasy points per game is kind of the same. The RB1 finishes are about the same. The age is close enough to the same. Who are we taking based on the resume?
I'm going with player C.
Okay, why?
Well, because I take the running back age cliff very seriously. So even that difference of like 1 year is enough for me to like lean that way. Plus the production is on player C side. And yeah, he's missed 11 games, but like that's 11 games over how many seasons? I feel like that's 17 games is just like too much. I kind of got an idea about who that is, but we'll see.
Okay, so we'll see. Let's put the hints out there, and then you can tell me who you think they are, because these are the hints from the players. Player A says, I did not play my first NFL game until my second year, and my younger brother will likely be drafted on some of your Dynasty rosters. Player B says, I'm a 2-time college football playoff national champion, and I have rushed for 1,000 yards in every single season of my NFL career. And then player C says, some people have labeled me as injury prone, and I have played on 3 different NFL teams over the last 3 seasons.
Oh man, do I still want player C? Okay.
Interesting, right? Because the production of player C was pretty solid. But based on the hints, go ahead, take your time, figure out who you want to lock in for these guys.
Okay, so can I ask a follow-up question to one of the hints?
I might allow it. Ask the question, I'll tell you.
Is the brother already in the NFL, or is he in college and to soon be in the NFL?
The brother is not in the NFL.
Okay, so it's somebody coming up. Okay. All right. I'm a 2-time college football national champion and rushed for 1,000 yards in every season of my career, and I'm 26 years old. You know what's funny? I think player C is the player I thought player A was. I'm going to say player A is DeAndre Swift.
You were locking in DeAndre Swift for which one? Player A or player C?
Player C.
Okay.
2-time national champion, and they've rushed for 1,000 yards in every season of their NFL career. Najee Harris.
Locking it in?
Yes, put Najee Harris. Let's see, I did not play my first NFL game to my second year, and my younger brother is likely to be on some of your Dynasty rosters. But they missed 17 games, so that means they probably got injured in their rookie season.
I see the wheels turning.
Yeah, let's see.
I like it.
Injured. And I feel like it's right there on like the tip of my tongue, so I just can't put my finger on it. Obviously, you're not going to tell me if the 17 games were missed during the rookie season, obviously.
I won't tell you, no.
Yeah, you won't tell. I'm surprised you didn't put a timer on this.
It's the beauty of editing, brother.
Yeah. Oh. I forgot about that. Let's see.
Can edit this thing.
Okay, hold on. See, now if I knew more about college football, I would know this answer, but since I rely on you to learn about college football, I have no clues, brother.
So I felt like giving one college related and one NFL related kind of fact in their statement would allow people who know more about each one. And that's why, like, I knew you didn't know a bunch about college. So I was like, I can throw a hint in here that maybe the viewer knows, but maybe War gets stumped on. Do you have a couple names you could even think of or no?
I'm thinking of one now. I'm trying to remember. Kyron Williams' rookie season was last season, right?
Kyron Williams was in his second season last year.
Okay, so I'm going to say Kyron Williams is the first. It's player A.
Okay, so we're locking in player A, Kyron Williams, player B, Najee Harris, and player C, DeAndre Swift.
Yeah.
Okay, the players that were at the running back position here are Travis Etienne, Najee Harris, and DeAndre Swift. So 2 for 3 here. Not bad, actually. But it's Travis Etienne. He has a little brother, Trevor, who plays at Georgia right now. He's a running back at Georgia, and he's likely going to be drafted on our Dynasty rosters. Would you have made this decision still after looking at the resumes? Because the resumes, you took DeAndre Swift.
Yeah.
But knowing the names, do you change your opinion?
Oh, man. Okay. As a Bears fan, yes, I would stick with player C. But now knowing the names, I'll probably take Travis Etienne. Even though I'm not the biggest Etienne fan, I probably would take Etienne over Swift. But yeah, once you gave me the hint that he's been on 3 teams, which I don't know why he's been on 3 teams, but whatever. That was a good curveball you threw there, Andrew. The 17 games is a little bit misleading because when you're like, okay, he missed his rookie season, because Etienne missed his rookie season, right?
The whole rookie season, all 17.
The whole rookie season. So when you look at it like that, it's a little more acceptable than someone missing 17 games over the total of like few seasons. So
yeah, because he hasn't missed a game since his rookie year. He hasn't missed any game due to injury. So it is a little bit different. But I figured looking at him like that was interesting. But DeAndre Swift's resume, talk about a surprising resume for the most part. And I think Najee's resume is being thrown under the bus a little bit. But looking at both of those guys, Swift, Najee, I think we're undervaluing them in the community. And is it because we are attaching this negative name value to the name Najee Harris and the name DeAndre Swift? Because when you look at the fantasy football resumes and you look at the fantasy points per game that they have averaged every single season of their career, the amount of RB2 and the RB1 finishes that they have, they're right there on par with Travis Etienne. And we're viewing Travis Etienne as a top 10 guy, but we do not view Najee Harris and DeAndre Swift as a top 10 guy.
Yeah, that's true. I think a lot of it with Najee too is just his age. And I think it's like the presence of Jalen Warren being there and that's not really knowing like how those splits are going to go down. And with Swift, I think it's everything that you mentioned. I think it's the injury prone label. I think that I don't think people hold him being on 3 teams against him too much.
I don't think
I don't. Yeah, but I do think the injury prone label definitely is held against him. And I think it's also the way he kind of petered out towards the end of like last season after starting off so strong. So I think those are the things that like give him a negative view in the Dynasty community.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. And that's why I like looking at these a little bit. Like I said, I used to play this game just in text with Brandon and people in the group chat all the time, where I would just like throw out player A, player B, give you stats. I just think it's an interesting way to look. And obviously, like, do not play this game and make dynasty decisions for your roster, but it puts into a little bit of a perspective of, you know, what guys have actually done for your fantasy football team compared to headline or narrative that they have on their team right now. Because I think, yes, there's things with DeAndre Swift and there's things with Najee Harris where they have kind of earned a negative narrative, I think, or not earned it, but they've been given a negative narrative. And once you get that negative narrative, it's kind of hard to break out of it. But I think if you were to tell me, hey, Najee Harris, he is going to give you an RB2 season again this year. He's going to have 1,000 rushing yards and he's going to just do it again for the Steelers because he's done it every single year that he's been with the Steelers. I wouldn't be surprised, but it seems like the narrative of the community is like, we don't like Najee Harris. We love Jaylen Warren, and people are throwing Najee Harris away. And same thing with DeAndre Swift. Yes, he's injury prone or been labeled as injury prone, but last year for the Eagles, he missed 1 game and it was due to illness at the end of the year. It wasn't even like an injury. And now he is on a Bears roster where they're talking about using him as a receiving weapon and things like that. So like, don't let the old narrative influence the way that you are viewing a player going into a new situation. That's kind of my takeaway from this part.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think there's people who don't even realize that Najee Harris rushed for 1,000 yards every season in NFL. So it's just
sometimes it's not pretty. He's getting an ugly 1,000 yards, but they're producing running back 2 seasons or better every single year for the most part for him. So, hey, I'll take RB2 seasons out of Najee Harris. But let's move on to the next group of guys here. We do have this group of guys right here. This is quarterbacks. So this is going to be our last group. I realize that this is probably a shorter video than we're used to giving people. And so I apologize for that. If you guys typically like the hour-long type of stuff, the 45-minute type of stuff, I apologize. You're not getting that today. But I wanted to try out this video. I didn't realize we would go through it so fast. I thought it would actually take a little bit longer, but that is still fine. Here is the quarterback. Looking at the resumes, same type of deal, except finishing as a quarterback 2 in a super flex league doesn't really matter to me. So I care about top 12 finishes and top 5 finishes. That is a low end quarterback 1 and an elite quarterback 1. So we've changed the resume to reflect that. So looking at this, these are the ages of the players: 26.9 years old for player A, 27.5 years old for player B, and 26.3 years old for player C. Looking at the career points per game, 19.9 for player A, 18.4 for player B, and 19.8 for player C. Now looking at the top 12 finishes, 5 top 12 finishes from player A, 2 of them from player B, and 3 of them from player C. When it comes to top 5 finishes, 2 times from player A, he was the quarterback 3 and the quarterback 4 those years. 1 time for player B, the QB 4, and 1 time for player C, the QB 2. And then when it comes to games missed due to injury in their careers, 18 games from player A, 13 games from player B, and 4 games from player C. So based on the resumes, who do you like?
Well, quarterbacks, I don't care about age as much. Age doesn't really matter too much for quarterbacks, but I do like the resume of player C a little bit more. Player A, that might be, all these guys miss games, but player C has missed the least game.
Okay. And so the missed games to injury is more important to you than the extra QB1 finish.
Yes.
I guess top 5 finish is what I'm saying here.
I might regret that.
We will see. Based on the resumes, you have chose player C. This is the hints for each of these players. Player A says, I am a former Heisman Trophy winner, and I currently hold 16 franchise records for my current NFL team. Player B says, I was in college for 5 years before breaking out as a redshirt senior, and I was the only rookie quarterback from my draft class to start on opening week. And then player C says, I played for 3 different coaches and learned 3 different schemes in my first 3 seasons as a college athlete, and my first NFL start was historic. So you chose player C. I will give you time to figure out who you want to guess for the other players.
Player A is Joe Burrow. Player A is Joe Burrow. That's who I want to lock in for player A.
Okay.
Player B, I was in college for 5 years before breaking out as a redshirt senior, and I was only rookie quarterback from my draft class to start opening week, and he's 27 years old. Is there a chance I can see those stats again?
Yeah, let's look at them real quick.
Okay, let's see here. They finished QB1 or QB4. They missed 13 games, and they're the only rookie to start at 27. In college for 5 years before breaking out as a redshirt senior? What the hell? So they weren't the starter for college the entire 5 years.
This will give you another hint, but they started their redshirt junior year, which was their 4th year in college, and they didn't break out until their senior year, which was their 5th year. But the first 3 years, he didn't really play. The freshman year was a redshirt year. The 2 years after that, he didn't play.
27. This is gonna kill me. Oh, man, 27. I'm gonna take this a long shot. Let's just say Russell Wilson.
Okay.
Try Russell Wilson.
And player C?
Player C. Okay, so they had a historic athlete. My first NFL start was historic. So it has to be somebody pretty damn good. They're 26. Played for 3 different coaches and learned from 3 different schemes in my first 3 seasons as a college athlete. Shit, that's gonna crush me right there, the word college.
Well, you can take out a Bama quarterback because we know Saban's been the guy. He had to learn new schemes. You can take out like some things like that. So I'll give you a tiny hint. Because the historic thing is this player became only the 3rd player in NFL history to pass for at least 300 yards and rush for a touchdown in his first career game. So he passed for 300 yards and ran for a touchdown in his first game. And it was the 3rd player ever in history for the NFL to do that.
I wonder if it's a running quarterback. Nah, Lamar Jackson. Hell nah. This was going to kill me, bro. This was going to kill me. Oh, man.
Who we locking in for player C, man?
I don't fucking know. Derek Carr.
Derek Carr is who we are locking in for player C. Are you...
Wait, no. Yeah, no. Hell no, not Derek Carr. This person's 26. Lamar Jackson. Let's call Lamar Jackson. The hell with it.
To confirm, we are locking in player A as Joe Burrow. Player B is Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
And player C is Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I feel like I butchered this one.
Okay, revealing the players.
I swear to God, I was going to say Herbert for player C, but...
Player A is Kyler Murray. Player B is Joe Burrow. And player C is Justin Herbert. Joe Burrow did not break out until his senior year.
That's crazy. I had the wrong, but he did win a Heisman, right?
He did win a Heisman. Kyler won a Heisman, but Kyler holds the 16 franchise records for his Arizona Cardinals.
And then I'm all like, it's not someone from the AFC West.
I know. And I'm like, Justin Herbert is sitting right there, brother.
Why didn't I say Herbert? Like, because I kept thinking about him multiple times. You know what it was? I'm going to tell you why I didn't think it was Herbert. I didn't think that he would have played for 3 different coaches in college because, I mean, the Oregon Ducks were pretty successful. So I was like, okay, they're not going to fire their coach, so it can't be Herbert.
Yep. So he stayed at Oregon his entire time. Freshman, sophomore, junior year, all 3 years, he had new schemes, new offenses that he had to learn, new coaches. Then he could have came out. He was one of the best players or one of the highest projected players in the 2019 class, which was Kyler Murray's class. He was probably going to be QB2 right behind Kyler, but he went back to school for a senior year and he came out as the next year, I think QB2 to the Chargers instead. Ended up not hurting his draft stock at all. And he ended up probably going to a better situation because if he was QB2 in Kyler's class, I think he would have been drafted to the New York Giants where Danny Jones went. So probably a better decision for Herbert there. Knowing what we know now, Kyler Murray, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, you said you wanted player C. You liked player C's resume more. Do you still stand by Herbert over Burrow and Herbert over Kyler?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we got some explaining to do. Why are we taking Herbert over Burrow?
Because I have serious concerns about his injuries at this point. I still lean towards maybe they're nothing, but I don't trust the Bengals to be able to protect him enough to not have him get injured again. And now, like this wrist thing, he's saying he doesn't know how it's going to be. Everybody's saying they don't know how it's going to be. I know Herbert has missed, a couple games, but I feel like
the only games that Herbert has missed in his entire career were last year. Those are the only games he's missed to injury.
Yeah, I feel like both of those guys have similar upsides. If we're talking about scheme, maybe that could be something that holds Herbert back, but health won't be. health won't be something that holds Herbert back. So honestly, don't think you could go wrong with any of these guys. And this could change. Joe Burrow goes out next season. He lights it up. He shows that like he's not going to get hurt all the time. Then it'll easily be Joe Burrow. But
yeah,
in terms of like right now, if I'm playing it safe, if I'm someone who wants to play it safe, I'm going with Herbert.
Okay. I want to bring up the resumes one more time because on our last episode that we did together, I said that I would view Kyler Murray similarly to how I viewed Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow. You see why these resumes have now gotten put together, because now I am backing up what I'm saying, because I said I would view Kyler Murray in that aspect. Looking at the resumes here, now that we know the names, player A is Kyler Murray, player B is Joe Burrow, player C is Justin Herbert. Yes, you have the 18 games missed by Kyler Murray, and that's scary because you think about that, and it was the ACL tear in the year before last, and he missed games last year because he was recovering from the ACL. A lot of that injury time that he's missed was due to one injury. He has 2 top 5 finishes, a QB3 and a QB4 finish. He has 5 top 12 finishes, twice as many as 2.5 times as many as Joe Burrow, a couple more than Justin Herbert. The fantasy points per game is the highest of the bunch. The age is in the middle. He's younger than Joe Burrow. He's just got Marvin Harrison Jr. They've improved this offense. Trey McBride, year 2. James Conner, Trey Benson, second year of the new or the offensive tackle that they drafted in the first year last year. I can't remember his name. Paris, something Paris. Kyler Murray is severely underrated, I feel like, because you look at the resume, you look at the numbers, and he's right there with some of the most valuable assets in Dynasty fantasy football. And you look at Keep Trade Cut, which is consensus community-based rankings. We bring it up all the time. We talk about, that's kind of how the community views these guys. They have Joe Burrow as the QB6. They have Justin Herbert as the QB10. Kyler Murray is the QB11. So the community is valuing Burrow quite significantly more than both of these guys. And you look at the resumes, and you didn't choose the resume of Joe Burrow. I wouldn't have chosen the resume of Joe Burrow. I would have chose the resume of Kyler Murray, the 2 top 5 finishes. There's an argument that either one, Joe Burrow is overrated in the Dynasty community, which I don't necessarily think that is the truth. But the other side of the coin is that Kyler Murray and Justin Herbert are underrated in the Dynasty community. And I think that might be the truth of it.
I think that might be the truth, sir. I think both of those guys are very underrated, especially Kyler Murray. He caught such a bad rap for so long, and then he got hurt. So, I mean, I think somebody's going to make the mistake in some redraft or something coming up. They're going to sleep on Kyler Murray. He's going to slide to somebody. They're going to get a top 5-6 finish out of a quarterback they drafted near the end of the first round. So
it's
don't know
just
if it'll be our redraft, but
no, it won't be, because somebody's going to take him in the first round. We talk about Kyler Murray too much for our redraft league to not know. But it's crazy to me to think, because I look at the all-time low for when Kyler Murray's price was at an all-time low. He was the QB 18 in Dynasty fantasy football in September of 2023. He was the QB 18, dude. And when you look at who is the QB 18 right now, it's a tier of guys that are Jared Goff, Drake May, JJ McCarthy. We could have bought Kyler Murray at QB 18, and he's currently QB 11. And I think he should be probably closer to QB 6 than he is QB 11, but yeah. I digress.
I think we talked about this last week. So I think so many people take the real life, football side of it into fantasy football, and that kind of screws people up. Is Kyler Murray the quarterback that's going to lead you to like a Super Bowl? Probably not. But in terms of like fantasy production, can he lead you to a championship? Yeah.
Well, that's what the hell we're playing for. So that's what we should be assessing. I don't know, man. It is what it is. But that's an interesting one. So just an interesting game that I figured we would play today. Maybe you guys like it. Maybe you don't. If you don't like it, thanks for watching anyways. Sorry, I guess. I don't know. It was something new to try. I thought it was pretty fun. If you do like the video, though, and you want to see us do it again, maybe next time War will pick the players and I will play the game. Let us know in the comments down below. If you guys let us know in the comments, if we get enough good feedback on this one, we'll maybe do another one like this. If not, it was an experimental video. We tried it. whatever. Anyways, so if you want to let us know that you liked the video, you want us to do a part 2, hit the like button, let us know in the comments, hit the subscribe button, and do all the good YouTube stuff, man. And if you want to support the show, you guys see it at the bottom of the screen. Use promo code League FFB over on Underdog Fantasy. They will give you up to a $250 bonus in bonus cash. So go use that. It'll be linked in the comments, linked in the description. Anywhere that there's a link possibly to go, our link will be there. You can support the show. War, where can they find you at?
You can find us over on the Crimson Mass Show, where we talk about professional wrestling. We are under construction, but we might drop a video today. We shall see. So come over and subscribe to us, like us, check out all our videos and all our content.
Hell yeah. So there you guys have it. Like I said, sorry for a little bit of a shorter video. We will be right back to the normal programming next weekend. Next Monday. We've moved to Mondays now. I have to remember that. We will be doing a Dynasty trade show. So if you're in our Discord, if you watch this show religiously, get those trades submitted in the Discord. We will be pulling them on probably Friday. And yeah, man, Dynasty trade show next week. But that is all I have for you guys today. So we will see you guys on the next video. Until then, peace out.
Wow.